there's a bill that has been introduced in the General Assembly. And this one, again, was another head scratcher because it deals with homelessness, and it's been a growing problem, particularly in the Baltimore area. But they've introduced a bill that would make tent cities permanent in order to house the homeless. It seems to me that they've just given up on trying to deal with the mental health issues affecting our homeless population.
I think so. And I think whenever that you see disparities in where there's racial disparities in anything, it gives the Democrats a reason to file new legislation that end up hurting a lot of us. This bill, it's House Bill 304, and it's Delegate Ruth who's proposing this bill. It doesn't even mention tent cities in the bill at all. The bill is about the failure to obey section where they where a lot of progressive cities have developed similar rules, and they are actually rescinding those rules now. When you look at places like LA, they've already taken away some of their tent city areas, because I mean, what it really does is when if a policeman asks someone to please move their tent because they've set up a tent somewhere in the middle of the public, they can refuse, and then the policeman, they're not allowed to like arrest them and take them away.
Well, the history, and going back to the late 70s and early 80s, is when vagrancy laws were first struck down by the courts that disarmed the police from being able to address homelessness or keep people from living on the streets. And we've only seen the problems be exacerbated over the years. I think this is the wrong way to address the problem. I think the problem is there a great deal of the people who are homeless are there by choice, and it's because they have either mental issues or drug issues, and this isn't the way to do it. And
it's their own progressive policies that are creating this situation. And so now, if they do, like for example, I was at Union Station during the holidays with my son. And when we walked by, there were just a lot of tents in front of Union Station. And I'm like, what's going on? What is this? And that's when I first learned that this is happening in our own DC area. And I just heard recently they finally did clean up the area and get people to move away from that area.
A survey was printed in yesterday's Washington Post of Washington DC residents saying that they supported moving the tent cities, that people had kind of gotten fed up with it. Before we go to break, and I want to talk a little bit about an idea that was floated at a meeting of businessmen with candidate David Blair, who's running for county executive. And during that meeting, I did not attend, but what was reported to me was a Mr. Blair, and I think he did this during the last time he ran for office, suggested that all Republicans should change their party affiliations for the primary and vote as a Democrat, and of course vote for him in order to have a business-friendly person as county executive. As the president of a Republican Federation of Women, what do you think about that, Laurie?
I don't like that idea, and I didn't like it when David Blair suggested it the last time. I did attend one of his meetings when he ran the last time, because I did think he had some good ideas for businesses. He does seem to be the more business-friendly candidate. However, first of all, I just could never change to be a Democrat, because that is not that's not what my philosophies are. And to have that on my record I just wouldn't want that on my record at all. I've even been asked to change Democrat because maybe I could win as a Democrat, since I have not been able to win as a Republican, but I just, it's not in my philosophy to do it. And you have a number of races that are important in the Republican primary. You have Kelly Schultz, who is, I would say, more on the Hogan middle of the road Republican versus Dan Cox, who is more on the right. You have those two running, and I think it's important to have your say as a Republican on which one you prefer. There are other congressional races that more people are filing now that are Republicans. We have a race in District 6 between two people that I know of. So really, I don't think it's a good idea. And I think last time they pushed for it, a very, very small percentage did switch over, and it did not make a difference. I don't think so. I just feel like it's just not, I don't like the idea. We need to really push the increase of Republicans in our county. We're already 4-1 Republican versus other parties. So I just don't want to make that number worse.
So I can see the angst in your whole demeanor about the thought of converting. So I won't push the issue any further, but I think it's again a novel approach to trying to get into the game anyway. When we come back, parting shots. Stay tuned.
Okay.